What is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome to VEVE Investments. I appreciate you tuning in. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about different ways that the VEVE platform can benefit you long term. So if you guys enjoy the content, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you want to see in a future episode. Without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy. So I finished up an interview with Dyno last week that's now been posted over on the Web Collective YouTube channel. After finishing that interview, it got me thinking about some things that him and I had discussed. So I want to talk about 6 ways in today's episode that the platform can actually benefit you long term. Some you may have thought about before, some you may not have. So with that being said, let's not waste any time here. Let's hop right into the first point. So the first thing I want to discuss today, and it might be obvious to most, but VEVE provides you with the ability to easily collect. So there's an easy buying process. Aside from KYC, which they intend on pushing down the line anyways, there's low barriers to entry for somebody to get involved with VEVE. Right, so if you compare VEVE to OpenSea, a consumer over on OpenSea has to be a little bit more knowledgeable. They have to set up their wallet, they have to put crypto in the wallet, and then make the purchase. Over on VEVE, all you're really doing is putting your credit card in and clicking buy now. And when they push KYC further down the user journey, it's only going to reduce these barriers even more. So I have a couple hundred collectibles, but I don't need a room to store them in. I can carry each and every one of them on my mobile phone. Not to mention I can show each and every one of them from my phone. Now, in addition to not needing a physical space to store these collectibles, you don't need to take care of your collection, right? So if you have a physical collection, dusting your collectibles is something you want to do from time to time. Presentation is obviously something you want to consider. You don't want your collection looking all old and grimy. But on top of that, you don't have to worry about the quality degrading over time, right? So if your collectibles are sitting in the sun, they're eventually going to become discolored. If you want the piece to hold its value over time, then more often than not, you can't even open it. I have nothing against graded comics, but a graded comic is just the cover, right? You have it framed up on your wall or leaning on your shelf, but you're not sitting and reading it. So in terms of not having to worry about quality, from my perspective, it's a lot less stressful. And as I mentioned before, because it's all on mobile, it's really easy to take your entire collection and just show your family and friends. If you were to do that with a physical collection, well, your family or friends would have to come to the room that they're all stored in. Next up, and this is a big one for me, networking. So when I originally got involved with VEVE, my number one reason was the team, Alcon specifically. A huge value proposition, I guess you can say, that I've noticed since I've been invested in the project is how important this community is. So first off, by networking with those in the community, there's opportunities for career advancement. So by doing this, you can gain access to new job opportunities, connect with potential employers, even potential clients, considering the type of stuff that I do. You can increase your knowledge and your expertise by interacting with other professionals. There are a lot of successful people in this community. So by getting the sponge off people like that, right? Expand your knowledge, learn from their experiences, their skills, their perspectives. And even if you don't make a penny on the project, you can gain so much value from that alone. Access to resources and support. So you can connect with people who can provide advice, guidance, support, right? I know Evolve put out a tweet last week for something exactly like this. And he actually got a lot of engagement on that post as well from members of the community. Improve communication, interpersonal skills. Enhance visibility and reputation. So getting a little bit more involved and interacting with the community can help increase your visibility in the industry. Take somebody like myself, for example, right? I would consider myself an aspiring artist, I guess you can say now. David had mentioned that in order to get onto VEVE, you need to be relevant and you need to have some sort of thought out product offering to provide to your audience. So by me trying to get a little bit more involved in showcasing my skills, I mean, who knows what could happen down the line with something like this. And then we're also seeing this happen a lot right now, a potential for collaborations and partnerships. So we have the VEVE Collective, and we have a lot of people who have joined that group recently. It's a place where we can discuss things that people are passionate about, leverage other people's skills, and as mentioned in that point, collaborate on other projects. I've had Evolved on the channel, I've had Osman on the channel, just did an interview with Dyno, so if you haven't checked that out, I'll link it in the description down below. But I'd even mentioned to Dyno, relationships like this are so important because getting in early on VEVE is one thing, but developing relationships with people who are successful or become widely successful as a result of VEVE can be hugely beneficial for you long-term as well. Next, VEVE is a potential income source, right? Obviously, buying and selling on the app is one way, but also VeVeVerse Ventures. So I have dropped a video in the past talking about ways that you guys can use the VeVeVerse to make money when it drops. Some ways would be an interior designer for home spaces. You have a 3D modeling designer to create 3D accessories, an event coordinator to schedule events for businesses or home parties, whatever it may be. And then you can monetize land when we get access to purchasing plots in the VeVeVerse. But on top of that, right, we just talked about getting a little bit more involved in a passionate community. If you can build an audience and then provide value to that audience, that would be another way that you can create an income source for yourself. Whether that's providing value to your super followers over on Twitter or an exclusive Discord group or even a YouTube channel, right? There's lots of talented people in this community. And if you possess a skill that 90% of people in the community don't have, then you have an opportunity you can take advantage of. And then we've also talked about rental applications in the past as well. To my knowledge, nothing confirmed yet by the team, but I am quite confident in saying that if there isn't some sort of rental system set up or a way for us to do it, users will find out a way to make this happen. It's inevitable in my opinion. Now, another way you can benefit from the platform is discovering new passions. So this is another big one for me. So whether it's discovering new brands and IP like Pilly Fantasy or Ultraman, or discovering new artists, right? Like Frank Kozik or Ron English. Rest in peace, Frank Kozik. Very unfortunate, by the way. But a big advantage to VeVe is that VeVe is a centralized marketplace, meaning that they're bringing all of these brands and IP to one location. I'm sure everyone watching this video knows who Marvel, Star Wars, and Disney are, but many people end up coming onto the app because of those brands and then finding out about smaller artists like Frank or Ron. Now, on top of the brands themselves, you can also get introduced to categories that you've never been involved with. So comics. I'm recording this video and looking at a stack of comics over on my shelf right now, but prior to VeVe, I've never read a single comic in my life. In fact, I never walked into a single comic book store. But what happens as a result of discovering new passions? Increased happiness and fulfillment. Pursuing activities that you're passionate about bring a sense of joy and fulfillment to your life. Improved mental health would be another one. So if you're doing things with the community or on the app that you enjoy, things like this can help reduce your stress and anxiety. Another point would be personal growth, and this would be a point that I can relate to really well here. When you explore new interests or new passions, you start to develop new skills, right? You start to gain new knowledge, you expand your perspective on things. And I am almost exactly the type of person that VeVe is trying to target. Like prior to VeVe, never touched a comic, never touched a collectible. I used to collect coins as a kid, but I never consider myself a collector. But now you fast forward to today, I would consider myself a collector. I have a stack of comics, like I mentioned. I enjoy the app, I enjoy the community. And for anyone who missed the interview with Dyno, I mentioned in that interview that I pretty much started my graphic design as I started this channel. So the first ever Photoshop piece that I ever did were the VeVe pieces. Same with video creation. Like video editing and things like that, that's never been a service that I've provided my clients. I just figured out how to do all that stuff as I started the channel. I'm sure for the people who have been with me since day one, you guys can see a big difference between the quality then and now. That's not because I just didn't have it set up when I launched the channel. It's because I was still figuring out how to do it. So in terms of personal growth, when you develop new passions like this, you develop new skills as a result as well. And then also something we previously mentioned, but new social connections. So because you interact with people who are passionate about the same things that you are, you develop friendships and relationships as a result of that, right? Now, speaking of discovering new IP, what comes with that, right? I want to break that point down a little bit more here. So first, there's that sense of personal satisfaction. Collecting new brands that you're interested in can bring, a sense of satisfaction, enjoyment. And as you build a collection that reflects, your personal tastes and interests, it's just a really rewarding feeling. Next, when you discover a new brand or IP, there's new investment potential. So we all know that in the collectible space, not always, but 99% of the time, the more scarce a collectible is, the more valuable it will become over time, provided that there is demand. When you combine that with a brand that's very popular, that has a large fandom, then you have the potential to make money. When you discover new IP, you also connect with like-minded individuals. So this reminds me of David always talking about the tables in the back of his collectible stores. So these are spaces where people who share the same passions can sit down and just enjoy time together. But what comes from discovering a new brand as well is learning about its history and culture. History in terms of the brand, culture in terms of the brand, but culture also in terms of its following. So for example, VEVE's community culture is much different than, Bored Ape Yacht Club. Second to last, we're gonna have education. And actually, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure I said 6 points at the beginning of this video, and there's 7. Whoops. Surprise. But anyways, in terms of education, how can you educate yourself with VEVE? Well, you gain a better understanding of cryptocurrency and digital collectibles in general, provided that you're actually trying to learn that stuff. You can sit here for 2 years, not do any research, and still be generally new to the idea. You're able to connect with individuals who are smarter and more successful than you are. And what comes with that is people who are more successful often know things that you don't. Take advantage of that. You can also learn about others and their stories, right? To use as inspiration for yourself. Since starting my journey, I've personally gained a better understanding of certain collecting tips, tricks, and then also collecting strategies. So understanding what sell walls are, what flippers do, what stackers do, etc., etc. And on top of all that, and this is the intention behind the fun facts episodes, but you get to learn more about the team and fun facts about the app or the business. And our last point for today is going to be earning points on a daily basis. After your first initial purchase, you earn points ongoing until you sell. So aside from your initial purchase, those points that you're earning on a daily basis after that are technically free. And now what you can do is you can take those points that you've earned every single day, and you can use those points to increase your overall experience, buying accessories, waitlist entries, whatever it may be. But the points that you're earning today, tomorrow, the next day, the day after that, those points are the result of you purchasing one item. Or I guess I'm just using that as an example. Let's just say you have an account with one collectible. But the reason I see this as beneficial is because you may be somebody who purchased collectibles a year ago and you're not too active at the moment, but you're still benefiting from those purchases a year prior. Ladies and gents, that's going to conclude today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. I did mention that I just finished up an interview with the VEVE collectors. So if you guys haven't checked that out, I am going to link it down below. There is going to be a part 1 and a part 2. Both parts are going to be about an hour long. But if you guys enjoy the content, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you want to see in a future episode. And as for our next, I'll catch you then.